Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Carrie Thomas, CEO of Coast Guard Mutual Assistance, and it's such a pleasure to welcome you all to our annual meeting and leadership summit. Before we dive into the agenda, we'll take a moment to reflect on the last year's accomplishments. Our shared efforts and milestones help us celebrate the foundation for yet another century of service. It is our 100th birthday, as it is for the I learned today the Coast Guard Grand Haven Festival's 100th birthday as well. So we think we look pretty good for 100. And we're excited about celebrating that. And thanks for being here as part of this momentous occasion. Would you please rise and join us for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please be seated. For those of you that are facing that direction, please feel free to turn and face this direction so you can be comfortable. What the plan for this morning is we're going to have a program, then we're going to stop for lunch, and then as we're getting into our desserts, we'll restart the program. So no problem to turn around and get comfortable. To kick off today's event, we've got a brief video to share the highlights of the accomplishments of the last year.
In 2024, CGMA is thrilled to be celebrating our centennial anniversary, marking 100 incredible years of serving and supporting members of the U.S. Coast Guard and their families. From our very beginning, we've been there to offer crucial assistance through life's most challenging circumstances. As we set sail into the next 100 years, our vision is crystal clear: to continue providing unwavering service, adapting to the changing needs of the Coast Guard community, and guaranteeing the financial readiness and well-being of generations of coasties to come. In 2023, CGMA representatives processed 8,234 cases, serving 6,825 Coast Guard members, with $9.9 million in total support, with $5.1 million of that in grants. As we celebrate our 100th anniversary in 2024, we're dedicated to continuing this progress and ensuring we're there for the challenges ahead. CGMA is dedicated to improving the lives of Coast Guard men and women. One of our most well-known means of support is through disaster and emergency relief.
In May 2023, Typhoon Mawar hit Guam with 140-mile-per-hour winds, the strongest storm in 20 years. CGMA stepped in, supporting 266 members with over $300,000 in grants and loans for food loss, property loss, and home repairs.
We had access to just doing the forms online instead of standing in long lines and waiting for who knows how long, days and days, to fill out the forms and make sure we had all the information. It was such a smooth process and helped so many people.
I know as volunteers in the Coast Guard Auxiliary, we give to the Coast Guard, and at the same time, it felt so good that they accepted us as their family and gave us that assistance. So it impacted our family really good.
By year end, CGMA's CEO, Rear Admiral Carrie Thomas, visited Guam, connecting with members and hearing their stories firsthand. Rear Admiral Thomas emphasized, caring for our Coast Guard family isn't just duty, it's heartfelt commitment. No matter the need, great or small, CGMA is here to help. From help with a PCS move to family building resources, to support through the death of a loved one, to unexpected car or home repairs, CGMA is always ready to help our own. Your support has allowed us to expand our reach, enhance our services, and create lasting, meaningful impact. Together, we will continue to be anchored in service, ensuring that CGMA remains a beacon of hope, compassion, and positive change for generations of Coast Guardsmen to come.
want to thank Mr. Gosnell McDermott for putting this together. It was all done in-house. Caitlin Fleming for your narration, as well as Jason Wong's voice I heard. They were doing changes to this right up until the very last minute, and I'm just so proud of them. At this time, I'm honored to introduce Rear Admiral Joe Raymond, the President of Coast Guard Mutual Assistance Board of Directors.
Colleagues and friends, good morning. It is truly an honor to stand before you here today. Your presence here is deeply appreciated, and I extend my heartfelt gratitude for all of you for joining us in commemorating the remarkable achievements of the past year, and I eagerly expecting the possibilities ahead. Without further ado, I officially call this meeting to order. Please join me in welcoming today's special guest. Welcome to the Commandant of the Coast Guard, Admiral Linda Fagan, who will be joining us later this afternoon. Vice Commandant of the U.S. Coast Guard, Admiral Steve Poulin, accompanied by his wife Sherry. And Master Chief Heath Jones, Master Chief Petty Officer of the Coast Guard. I would also like to welcome our award recipients, Chief Warrant Officer Caitlin Fleming and her family, Mr. Tom McDonald, and Ms. Tiffany King, representing Lockheed Martin. I also want to extend a heartfelt welcome to all of our flag officers, Command Master Chiefs, senior executives, and other distinguished Coast Guard leaders who are here with us today. We also recognize the presence of our representatives from other military aid societies, our valued partners, and then the friends and family of CGMA and the United States Coast Guard. Please join me in extending a warm round of applause to our guests. Thank you. The last year has been marked by resilience, collaboration, and steadfast commitment to the well-being of the Coast Guard community. It has reinforced the crucial role that CGMA plays in the lives of Coast Guard members and their families, and shines a light on the broader impact of our collective efforts on the fabric of our nation's maritime security. If our accomplishments were a quilt, we would find threads of support intricately woven by dedicated individuals within the organization and among our very important external partners. The resounding success we celebrate today is a testament to the exceptional dedication proven by our CGMA team and the powerful partnerships cultivated with organizations within and beyond the Coast Guard. Together, we have faced challenges head-on, ensuring that CGMA fulfills its mission and continues to evolve to meet the challenging needs of our Coast Guard family. As we express our gratitude for these achievements, we acknowledge the sacrifices made by our service members and their families, recognizing that CGMA support is a lifeline that extends far beyond financial assistance. In short, it strengthens the core of the Coast Guard community. To show our thanks, we will recognize the individuals whose unwavering commitment has been instrumental to our shared success. Today is a moment of appreciation, a moment to honor those who have dedicated their time, expertise, and passion to fortify CGMA's foundation, ensuring that it remains a resilient pillar of support for the entire Coast Guard family. It is now my pleasure to introduce our distinguished guest speaker, Admiral Steve Poulin, the 33rd Vice Commandant of the United States Coast Guard. Admiral Poulin assumed the duties as the 33rd Vice Commandant on May 31st, 2022. As the Vice Service Chief and Chief Operating Officer, Admiral Poulin executes the Commandant's strategic intent, manages internal organizational governance, and serves as the chair of the Coast Guard Philanthropic Council.
Thank you. Thanks, Joe. All right, leave me hanging. Hey, I am absolutely thrilled to be here. I've been looking forward to this event for quite a while, and I know the Commandant is as well. I look forward to hearing her remarks when she's down here at about 12:30. I will tell you that it is really an impressive event with impressive people. Mick Pogg and I, Deputy Mick Pogg, Charlie Sauls is here as well. We have been really excited about coming down here and just sharing some time with you, but really to extend our collective thanks to everybody here and to say happy 100 years to Coast Guard Mutual Assistance. I really appreciated watching the video. I hope you found it as impactful as I did. It was impressive. I heard words unwavering, adapting to serve our Coast Guard men and women and our families. I heard always ready, and I heard anchored in service. Those are very powerful themes and certainly represent the ethos and the value proposition of mutual assistance and so much more. I truly appreciate what mutual assistance provides to our Coast Guard workforce and their families. You fill that gap between the programs that we can offer and really the needs of our workforce. You can respond very quickly, oftentimes much more quickly than we can, to financial challenges our people face, such as increasing housing costs. And your educational grants are certainly a force multiplier for us. I was a mutual assistance officer as a junior officer. I think many of us who have been junior officers were. I don't think it was quite 100 years ago, but it was pretty close to that. And I got to see firsthand the impact, the positive impact that mutual assistance has for our men and women and their families. You are there in times of need. You provide reassurance. You provide a lifeline when people are struggling and have hardships. And I know the programs have expanded since I was a mutual assistance officer, but the core of what mutual assistance does has never changed, and that's why I picked up on that unwavering point. You are there to help others in distress, and that is a very noble thing indeed, so thank you for that. And I would say that mutual assistance, as critical as it has been in our past, it will remain critical now and into the future because the demands on our Coast Guard are increasing, not just domestically, but globally. And with increased demands comes an increased operational tempo, increased stress on the workforce, probably increased family separation. And this is all happening in the midst of socioeconomic change as well. Service is hard. We are trying to break down barriers to service. We're trying to make it easier to serve. We're trying to give more predictability and stability for our workforce. But it's going to remain hard. And again, mutual assistance is there to help and to be a backstop and provide that reassurance that I mentioned that is so critically important. So I want to thank everybody who has played a part in making Coast Guard Mutual Assistance what it is today, giving people the financial strength so that they can do their job. There is no question you are a mission enabler. What you do each and every day gives us the opportunity to provide direct and predictable operational outcomes. Let me say that again. What mutual assistance does is a mission enabler and allows us to provide predictable and certain mission outcomes for the nation. Admiral Thomas, I want to thank you, Carrie, for everything that you've done for our Coast Guard. I'm proud that I got to serve alongside you. I'm proud that I get to call myself one of your classmates. Class of '84, I'm sorry I dated us, but that's okay. We are proud members of '84. You have served with distinction throughout your more than 4 decades of service to the Coast Guard, and I'm so grateful for that, as we all are. And Gary, thank you for serving alongside her, being there, supporting her, but also serving in your own capacity in a career, and also just enhancing our awareness of Coast Guard history and everything else that you're doing to make us a better service. So thank you, Gary. And I still believe you have the best hair in the room.
I don't know, the young man over here has got some pretty good hair.
Yeah, there we go. But to Carrie and Gary, you have been sentinels for our service. I know you'll remain sentinels for the service, but just know how deeply grateful I personally am and the larger Coast Guard is. We are a better organization because of you, and The words just don't seem enough. So I'm just going to offer you a humble thanks. Thank you all, and congratulations.
Next on our agenda is the awards segment. CGMA's mission is to support the financial resilience of the Coast Guard community with purposeful programs designed to prevent short-term issues becoming chronic problems. We stand always ready to help our own, using adaptable, innovative, and inclusive solutions to help Coast Guard men and women navigate evolving financial challenges. At CGMA, we uphold a set of guiding principles: empowering members of the Coast Guard family to achieve autonomous financial well-being. Secondly, fostering self-respect and self-worth, ensuring confidentiality in financial assistance applications, treating all members of the Coast Guard community with honor and respect, providing timely assistance, consistently applying guidelines and principles fairly and equitably to all, making decisions based on the merits of individual cases. Now, after highlighting these principles, our awards program will provide the perfect platform to showcase those values we hold dear. So let's proceed. Our first award is the Ambassador of the Year Award. This award acknowledges the dedication of an individual who has exemplified unwavering commitment, exceptional leadership, and steadfast advocacy as a volunteer in support of CGMA's mission. Leading with words and actions, Auxiliarist Brown displayed unparalleled dedication and excellence in his role. For the past 4 years, he consistently recruited and led other auxiliary volunteers from Coast Guard Flotilla Central Grand Strand to ensure the success of the annual CGMA Golf Invitational. Unfortunately, Auxiliarist Brown cannot be present with us today, but we express our gratitude for his significant contributions to CGMA and its mission. But we were able to travel to his home and capture this video, so please direct your attention to the screen for a special message.
My name is John Brown, and I'm the immediate past flotilla commander of the Flotilla 12-4 of the United States Coast Guard Auxiliary. This is a great opportunity to be here for this video and recipient of this award. When I first learned about the golf tournament, I was steadfast on having our flotilla be a part of it. Your logo has that lighthouse on it. You see, the availability of this kind of assistance to folks, whether you're auxiliarist or active duty, it's a shoreline. And when naturally life has all those dark moments out at sea, wherever, in troubles, in need, and where else could you find that on the shore but that beacon of hope and light that shines that CGMA gives? It's just a great way to give back.
And now we move on to our next award. The So Others May Live Award is bestowed upon individuals who have uniquely supported CGMA's mission and goals. This year's recipient is Captain Raymond W. Atchison, U.S. Navy, retired. While Captain Atchison also cannot be with us today, we invite you to join us in acknowledging his valuable contributions to CGMA and its mission. From navigating the challenges posed by the pandemic to responding to many hurricanes and natural disasters, Captain Atchison has consistently provided critical aid and generous support during times of dire need. He has made a difference for thousands of Coast Guard family members, and amidst his own health challenges, Captain Atchison's selfless actions gives testimony to his exceptional character and the amazing generosity of his spirit. His dedication goes beyond duty, reflecting the highest standards of humanitarian service and perfectly embodying the spirit of CGMA's So Others May Live Award.
Well, as I told you, I read the report of donors on there, and I'm truly impressed with seeing how many are on there, and even to see enlisted people as high donors. That's amazing. And then the other thing that's in that is they do collective donations by the ships and the stations, and you can see that must be every boat and ship that the Coast Guard is listed on there. So, thank you very much, and keep up the great work.
Admiral Pullen, Admiral Raymond, and Admiral Thomas, could I request the presence at the front in presenting our next awards? Chief Warrant Officer Fleming, would you please come forward? CGMA proudly recognizes the outstanding recipient of the Lieutenant James Crotty Award. Each year, this prestigious award is bestowed upon the CGMA representative who showed extraordinary dedication and performance that surpassed standard expectations, embodying the CGMA mission of helping our own. Named after Lieutenant Crotty, the first Coast Guard prisoner of war in World War II after the War of 1812, Lieutenant Crotty epitomized respect, dedication, and resolute support. In 2023, Chief Warrant Officer Caitlin Fleming emerged as a standout representative. Last year, Ms. Fleming orchestrated the seamless distribution of an impressive $257,000 across various mutual assistance programs. Her commitment to the financial resilience of the Coast Guard community set a new standard, reaching approximately 2,000 personnel and tenant commands served diligently by the Coast Guard Yard, one of CGMA's most active rep sites. Known for her kind heart for the Coast Guard community and beyond the numbers, Caitlin's impact over the last 6 years as a CGMA representative has been profound. Chief Warrant Officer Fleming's efforts have supported the financial resiliency of Coast Guard men and women. Notably, her leadership has advanced educational initiatives and emergency relief efforts, offering critical and timely financial support to Coast Guard families in need. Chief Warrant Officer Fleming's dedication to promoting awareness of mutual assistance resources has effectively increased community access to essential support. In recognition of her exceptional contributions, this award celebrates Chief Warrant Officer Fleming's outstanding leadership and unwavering commitment to the welfare of the Coast Guard community.
Good afternoon, distinguished guests. Thank you very much. Receiving the Lieutenant Crotty Award is truly an honor, and I am very humbled that I was selected to receive this award amongst the numerous number of amazing representatives out there and champions for mutual assistance. I would like to say thank you to the CGMA team. They are always on the phone. They always answer the call when you need assistance, and we couldn't do this without you. And working with you all over the last 6.5 years or so amongst various Coast Guard units has been amazing. And I am so glad to know you all and to have you there. I also want to just say that CGMA is one of the best programs, and we talk about it all the time at work, and we are always advocating for mutual assistance and supporting CGMA and how many wonderful things that it can do for our service men and women. To know that mutual assistance is there to help every single person under the Coast Guard umbrella in some way, shape, or form is amazing. And that's just something that I share with all of our new employees that are coming on and onboarding over at the Coast Guard Yard in Baltimore. And I also want to just say while I'm up here, thank you, because if it wasn't for the amazing men and women that I work with at the Coast Guard Yard and all of the folks up in Baltimore, I wouldn't be able to, do my job to give back to others for and on behalf of mutual assistance. So I just want to point over here to this table. We have our men and women from the Coast Guard shipyard here that I work with every day, and it's because of them that I can do this job alongside the other representatives up in Baltimore. Thank you so much.
Miss Tiffany King, would you please come forward? It is with great honor that we announce Lockheed Martin as the CGMA Values Pennant Award recipient. The Pennant Award goes to outstanding organizations that have supported CGMA's mission. On Coast Guard cutters, pennants are an important signal of what to do to keep safe in all sorts of potentially hazardous environments. And so as a renowned industry leader, Lockheed Martin is at the forefront of the aerospace innovation, providing cutting-edge defense, space, and technology solutions. Lockheed Martin's ability and influence extend beyond its business endeavors, which reflects a deep understanding of the importance of supporting organizations like CGMA that are dedicated to service. Their timely and generous supports empowers the Coast Guard to be ahead of ready. Namely, Lockheed Martin has been committed to alleviating challenges faced by Coast Guard families and communities during critical situations. Lockheed Martin presented CGMA with a $500,000 grant to support disaster and emergency assistance. This was extremely impactful during the aftermath of Hurricanes Ian and Fiona. Also, Lockheed Martin's generous provision of educational support as part of the grant underscores its commitment to empowering the Coast Guard community to strengthen its financial resiliency by ensuring access to educational resources and opportunities. Also, just for fun, a portion of that gift was given as part of the Joint Military Aid Society Battle for Bragging Rights, and Coast Guard came in second for our Giving Tuesday campaign. Thank you for embodying the spirit of service and collaboration and responsible corporate citizenship. Thank you, Lockheed Martin.
Coast Guard leaders, distinguished guests, CGMA leadership and team, on behalf of Lockheed Martin, it is such an honor to receive this award. I'm so proud of our support of CGMA over the last few years, providing emergency financial assistance and educational opportunities to the Coast Guard community. Supporting military families is a significant focus of what we do at Lockheed Martin. I work on our social impact team, and I'm so proud of what we do to support the entire military and veteran community. As a military spouse myself, this work is also personally important in addition to professionally important. I just want to say again, congratulations to CGMA on an amazing 100 years. And I'm so grateful for this special recognition as well as your partnership. And Caitlin, I just want to say congratulations on your award too. To hear your moving story of what this support really means within the community is really inspiring. So congratulations, and thank you all.
Over the past year, CGMA has proven its exceptional ability to swiftly address unique challenges and unforeseen requirements. A critical factor behind those achievements has been the important support of our board of directors. The cornerstone of any nonprofit organization lies in the commitment and proactive involvement of its board members, ensuring sound governance. Comprising of 22 individuals, the Mutual Assistance Board is made up of a wonderful, diverse spectrum of the Coast Guard community, including active duty and reservists, civilian personnel, retirees, spouses, as well as auxiliary members. Today, we extend our appreciation to those board members who have faithfully served, acknowledging their contributions as they conclude their terms this summer. Would the following board members please come forward? Lieutenant Commander John Andrew Minetti, Petty Officer Andrew Stoddard, and Mr. Christopher Mack. We also extend our recognition to those esteemed members who regrettably could not join us here today. Lieutenant Commander Patrick Pinella and Mr. Kenneth Weber. As our wonderful board members leave after their tenure of dedicated service, we extend our sincerest gratitude for their volunteer commitment to CGMA. Their leadership, wisdom, and passion have been invaluable assets, guiding us through challenges and fostering growth. Their contributions have made a profound difference in the lives of Coast Guard members and their families, exemplifying the spirit of service and camaraderie. While they may be leaving the board, their legacy of compassion and support will continue to inspire us all. We express our deep appreciation for their outstanding contributions and wish them every success in their future endeavors. Fair winds and following seas. Ladies and gentlemen, we are about to share a meal together, and it's essential to take a moment of reflection and gratitude. And so I am honored to invite someone whose presence brings comfort and wisdom. Chaplain McGarity, will you now lead us in prayer before we enjoy our lunch? Please join me in welcoming Chaplain Matthew McGarity to the podium.
Thank you so much. The scriptures teach us in Hebrews chapter 13, verse 16, do not neglect to do good and to share what you have, for such sacrifices are pleasing to God. Congratulations for a century of doing that. Now may I invite you to join your hearts with mine in prayer. Let's pray. Gracious and giving Lord, we come before you with gratitude in our hearts for the bond of service that unites us. We ask for your blessings upon this gathering, where we celebrate the spirit of camaraderie and support within our Coast Guard community. Guide us, Lord, as we reflect on the values of compassion, solidarity, and selflessness that define our mission. Bless those who've dedicated their lives to serving others, especially our Coast Guard members and their families who have sacrificed and supported one another in times of need. Grant us wisdom as we seek to strengthen the bonds of friendship and support within our Coast Guard family. May this luncheon be a time of renewal and inspiration, where we find encouragement in each other's presence and each other's stories. We ask for your protection, especially over our Coast Guard members as they continue to safeguard our shores, as they protect those especially in peril on the sea. May they be guided by your grace and wisdom in their noble duties. And Lord, please bless the organizers, the volunteers, and all who have contributed to making this event possible. May their efforts be rewarded with joy and fulfillment, and may the abundance of their labor be enjoyed by all who partake of it today. For it's in your holy name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Chaplain. Lunch will now be served. We will make an announcement 5 minutes before we resume the program. Good appetite.
All right, I'd like to invite Admiral Raymond back to the podium, please, to introduce our next guest speaker.
Hopefully you enjoyed our lunch. It is now my pleasure to introduce our distinguished guest speaker, Admiral Linda Fagan, the 27th Commandant of the United States Coast Guard and, just as importantly, Chairperson of the CGMA Board of Directors. Since assuming the position as Commandant of the United States Coast Guard, Admiral Fagan has consistently supported CGMA in reaching new heights of support for the Coast Guard community. Under her watch, CGMA has provided an impressive $16.6 million in financial aid, directly benefiting over 11,000 members of the Coast Guard community. Notably, a substantial $7.4 million of this aid came in the form of grants, underscoring the commitment to addressing the diverse and pressing needs of Coast Guard members and their families. This robust financial support is a testament to the Commandant's commitment to enhancing the well-being of the Coast Guard community, embodying the spirit of service and support that defines our service. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in extending a warm welcome to our Commandant, Admiral Linda Fagan, Commandant and Chair of the CGMA Board of Directors.
Thanks. All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Based on the size of the plate of food over there, I mean, it's going to be an effort, I think, to keep everyone awake. It looks like it was a great lunch, and it really is a privilege to spend a little bit of time with you this afternoon, and certainly as we celebrate 100 years of Coast Guard mutual assistance. Carrie, it's great to see you and all of you that are here to support mutual assistance, and all of our award winners. Congratulations to each of you. So good afternoon, Board of Directors, staff, the representatives, and I think we've got some folks joining us remotely. As I said, it's just really a privilege to be here and share my thanks and gratitude for what Coast Guard Mutual Assistance does to support our workforce and their families. You know, your support's been critical. Over the past year, our people have accomplished unprecedented missions while we confront new challenges. Last summer, the search and rescue of the submersible Titan, right, 1,000 miles offshore in 2.5 miles of water. It's the first time in our service history we executed a response for a passenger submarine. Had you asked me before that, hey, would the Coast Guard have had a substantial role in that type of search and recovery, I would have openly questioned whether we would. Yet, there we were leading that international effort, and now still engaged and involved in the follow-on investigation to learn lessons and insights from that particular search and rescue. Or look to the fires in the community of Lahaina on Maui. You know, the community was just devastated, really completely destroyed by fire. There was a loss of life of 100 people. Yet people, as they were fleeing the fires, go down to the harbor and the waterfront where our Coast Guard teams, small boat teams, were on scene in heavy smoke, intense heat, falling ash, and helped rescue several people in their greatest time of need. And it just, again, speaks to who and what we are as an organization as we rise to the occasion to save those in peril. And more recently, we need look no further than the bridge collision, the ship bridge collision in Baltimore. We have about 200 members of our workforce in Baltimore today working in the Unified Command. You know, initially it was a search and rescue case, looking to see if we could find and save the 6 workers that eventually lost their lives in that bridge collapse. And then, you know, moves into stabilizing the ship, ensuring we don't have large oil spill, pollution spill, and then bringing together the team of federal, local, and state responders into a unity of effort that you see there today with the Army Corps of Engineers, the supervisor of ship salvage, the governor, the mayor, so many entities there in Baltimore doing what needs to be done for that city, and still focused on the recovery of those that are missing. But again, it just speaks to who and what we can do as an organization, our role in search and rescue, and our role as leaders in crisis. So you know, we have while there is a lot going on, we also have challenges, and you know, I've been speaking pretty openly about some of the workforce shortfall challenge that we have faced as an organization. I am happy to share that we've made a lot of progress in the last year. We have reinvested in recruiting capacity. We've opened recruiting offices. We've established JROTC programs. And the shortfall that was peaked at about 3,500 is now down to 2,900. That's still not enough. We need to get that to zero and then continue to grow the force so we've got the workforce we need as we field the new acquisitions and capabilities. We've had to change the way we're operating the organization, right? We won't do the same with less. And so thinking intentionally about how we operate the force, creating the kind of frontline readiness that the American people expects from us also has been part of the challenge, but part of the opportunity that we've been able to realize
as an organization. And then we continue to look at all of our talent management and workforce management and assumptions. And so we've got Admiral Rusty Dash here, who's been in the forefront of some of that. I tell the team, right, the risk position for the organization right now is to maintain the status quo. And so while the challenges ahead may feel great, the opportunity is also great, and we need to challenge ourselves to be thinking differently about where and how we're going to bring the organization forward into the future. So Coast Guard Mutual Assistance, right? We can't do this without mutual assistance. Your role, support, absolutely critical. You're our official military aid society. Your mission supports our missions. This year, you guys are celebrating, and we're celebrating the 100th anniversary, and so for 100 years, you've been anchored in service. Continue to find new ways to innovate to support our workforce. I just think back to the LAPS and the missed paycheck, all of the innovation and forward leaning that Coast Guard Mutual Assistance has done in the past, and I know is doing today and will continue to do for us in the future. You demonstrated your commitment to people by extending aid totaling nearly $10 million in assistance that impacted more than 6,800 members of our workforce. A significant portion of that aid is in the form of grants for advanced education. Your support empowers our workforce and their families to achieve their educational goals. Your help is there for the workforce through difficult times, such as natural disasters, whether it was Typhoon Mawar in Guam, the Lahaina wildfire in Maui, and we did have several families impacted by those wildfires in Lahaina. You swiftly allocated hundreds of thousands of dollars in grants to those Coast Guard families and their recovery efforts. You responded to rapidly changing conditions in the housing market, and there have been disruptions in the housing markets. Master Chief and I hear that pretty much everywhere we go. While it may take on a slightly different flavor, there is no part of the country or no place where Coast Guard members are serving that has not experienced a housing disruption. And while it is a significant challenge to our workforce and as costs continue to rise, you've taken proactive steps to bridge the gap for many of our members and offered support with rental expenses or closing costs, taking the burden off the member, the worry off the member as we transfer them to new units. These are just a few examples of the incredible support and work that you are providing to our Coast Guard members and our families. The common element to all of these examples is, again, the innovation, forward-looking, and how quick you are able to respond to provide that support. And it's a testament to each of you, to the board, to Carrie and her leadership that we are where we are with this incredible organization that is Mutual Assistance. Your dexterity, the strength of leadership, although the sign appears to be disagreeing with me, your dexterity, the strength of leadership over the past 6 years under Carrie's helm has really, really been extraordinary. So Carrie, thank you. Thank you for your leadership and your exceptional work as you've helped guide this incredible organization forward. And during your time here at Coast Guard Mutual Assistance, as I've listed a few of the unprecedented challenges that you have helped us navigate, whether it was the 2019 lapse, the COVID-19 pandemic, or the many myriad of challenges that the nation has faced and we have faced on behalf of the nation. And any one of these challenges might have been career-defining experience for any executive leader, but you have risen to the challenge and met the challenge of each and every one of them over your tenure. I don't know where the Coast Guard Mutual Assistance or the Coast Guard would be without your vision of what our aid society can do for our people, and it really has been remarkable to watch you lead this organization forward. So on behalf of the entire workforce, I want to say thank you. Thank you for your dedication and your leadership. Thank you, Carrie. To the entire Coast Guard Mutual Assistance team, thank you. I am grateful for your work and all that you're doing to support our people and their families. You truly enable the Coast Guard mission accomplishment, our mission success. Your success helps us succeed as we continue to serve the American people and the American public. Thank you. Thank you for all that you are doing to support us. Thank you. Semper Paratus. All right. We're going to make a little transition here. They don't have Joe. Where's Joe? Come on your way. It says here, Commandant returns to seat, Admiral Raymond returns to podium. Then at this time, Admiral Raymond will invite me, I'll stay here, Admiral Poulin and Admiral Thomas to the stage. We have a little bit of more formal recognition for Carrie.
That was a good transition.
All
Thank
right,
you,
there
ma'am.
we go. I'm reading the red words.
All right.
Want us over here, Joe?
Yeah, you're
Yeah,
in
that'd
front
be
of this.
perfect.
Okay.
Thank you. Well, as Admiral Fagan told you, and as many of you already know, Admiral Carrie Thomas will be retiring and embarking on her next chapter, pursuing her education in social work. Under Admiral Thomas's leadership, CGMA has soared to new heights, providing essential financial aid, education, and support to Coast Guard members and their families in time of need. We will now formally recognize Admiral Thomas. Military members, attention to award. The Distinguished Public Service Award is presented to Rear Admiral Carrie B. Thomas, U.S. Coast Guard retired, Coast Guard Mutual Assistance. The Commandant of the United States Coast Guard takes great pleasure in presenting the Coast Guard Distinguished Public Service Award to Rear Admiral Carrie B. Thomas in recognition of her service as Chief Executive Officer of the Coast Guard Mutual Assistance from April 2018 to April 2024. Rear Admiral Thomas demonstrated transformative leadership, spearheading improvements that greatly enhanced the efficiency and value of CGMA for its over 150,000 clients. Rear Admiral Thomas's pivotal role in distributing over $50 million in support to more than 49,000 clients not only highlights her strategic leadership, but also underscores the crucial part she played in shaping CGMA's impact during its largest and most critical prevention and response years in its history. This substantial contribution represents nearly a quarter of CGMA's entire historical assistance. During the government shutdown, Rear Admiral Thomas facilitated $8.4 million in relief to over 6,200 Coast Guard military and civilian personnel. In response to the global pandemic, she assisted 6,200 families with $4.6 million, addressing challenges such as job loss, education, equipment, quarantine needs, and child care costs. Rear Admiral Thomas's strategic initiatives, professionalized fundraising, growing planned giving to nearly $10 million annually, and doubling the size of the full-time staff. The financial stability of CGMA grew from $30 million to $50 million under her stewardship. Rear Admiral Thomas played a pivotal role in driving business process improvements, particularly in streamlining disaster relief efforts during challenging periods such as active hurricane, typhoon, and wildfire seasons. Under her leadership, these enhancements proved invaluable, providing over $21 million in assistance. Her ability to adapt to new and evolving requirements showcased CGMA's unwavering quick commitment to filling the gaps where government action falls short. Rear Admiral Carrie B. Thomas's dedication, innovation, and exceptional leadership have significantly advanced the mission and impact of Coast Guard Mutual Assistance. Her contributions are in keeping with the highest traditions of CGMA and the United States Coast Guard. Please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, it is now my honor to introduce Admiral Carrie Thomas.
Right here, sir. All right, thank you. I'm gonna try. I got presented an official hanky so that if I get sidetracked today. First, let me say thank you so much for the award. With all awards, you can't do it without a team, and so I'd like to just ask the members of CGMA staff to please rise and be recognized for their hard work. Barry, who was my predecessor, we've grown a little bit since then, and so happy to be here. We've got members of the Philanthropy Council here. Thank you all for taking the time to be here and share with us. We've got other nonprofit partners that are here to celebrate. And as we all know, in the nonprofit world, there's never enough dollars, there's never enough time, there's never enough people. And we could not do our work without all of y'all. Coast Guard Mutual Assistance in its earliest days was the League of Coast Guard Women. And in reading through the annual reports, it sort of struck me as to how much has changed and yet how much has remained the same, and that they continue to evolve based on the external needs. The mission is unchanged, and that is to help with the financial resilience of the Coast Guard community. They helped with rent, emergency relief, and access to gas and electric companies even all those years ago. In 1927, they helped with aid for widows of 2 Coast Guardsmen who were murdered in the line of duty. In the late 30s, loans were made to purchase coal, fuel, medicines, indebtedness due to PCS transfers, or for dental work where there was no public health clinic at. In the 1950s, First Class received help for his wife at a psychiatric treatment as it was not authorized for spouses at the time. In '65, after Hurricane Betsy, a family who was living in Grand Isle, whose house was washed away by floodwaters, we helped them. In the '70s, a wife who was stationed whose husband was stationed overseas was helped with tornado damage. A wheelchair was provided for disabled children. Grant was received for a hearing aid for his wife. Some extraordinary $3 million in direct aid for families impacted by Katrina, Rita, and Wilma due to the great partnership with Mutual Assistance and the Coast Guard Foundation at the time. Now, there's been discussion about the name's organization. It was named the Coast Guard, the League of Coast Guard Women, and then it was discussed in '34 to change the name to Coast Guard Relief, in part because the Navy had stood up, and their name was Navy Relief at the time. After being changed to Coast Guard Welfare in 1941, there was discussion again about changing the name in 1942 to Coast Guard Relief, and in the 40s, and in the 50s, and in the 70s. And then finally, in 1979, it changed its name to Coast Guard Mutual Assistance. There have been changes to policies along the way. Layettes were first documented as being needed in 1940. Education loans were created in the 60s. Welfare was expanded to retirees in '64, but it took a commandant instruction to authorize allotments for retirees. And so that was done the next year. Indebtedness was a concern in the 60s, and a distribution of a book, Make Your Paycheck Pay Your Way, was hoped to help. In '83, the board proposed a first-time home purchase program. The 1980s also saw the addition of the auxiliary to its client eligibility. And in 2009, a Captain Carrie Thomas, who was the CEO of Trace and Cape May, was impacted by a groundbreaking centralization of the policies and funds management of CGMA, and this eliminated the vagaries of the loan and grant decisions underneath an important centralized policy. Finances have changed a bit over time, with $1,100 in its first year, $31,000 in the 40s, $1.3 million in '65, a portfolio of over $1.5 million in 1984, balance sheets of $34 million in 2017, and $54 million today. Strategic intent has had its ups and its downs. Mrs. Waishe said in 39 and 40, it is disappointing to the lack of the Coast Guard, the growth of the League of Coast Guard Women as a whole. There has been little increase in membership and no increase in the number of units over the last year. The Lighthouse Service consolidation with the Coast Guard offers an opportunity, after the world started changing. Quote, with many husbands and fathers gone for long periods, it's more than ever necessary to increase our relief work. And in 1949, the Board of Control president said, Coast Guard welfare is not making the proper headway in meeting the needy. It cannot be accomplished without wider membership and greater interest in welfare by the chiefs, division officers, commanding officers, and others. There was some impact listed in the earliest league reports, and the president at the time wrote in capital letters, "Your dollar helped this worthy case." There was also a national campaign with the Navy, Marine Corps, and Coast Guard in 1942 as the Coast Guard grew exponentially, and Navy relief helped members of the Coast Guard after Pearl Harbor as the district was under the control of the Navy. Talking about some of those great partnerships. Some of the activities have changed a bit. Raising funds included rummage sales, dances, something called cootie parties, in part to visit the sick in the hospital, distributing cigarettes, and sending Christmas baskets to each Coast Guard man at St. Elizabeth's Hospital. Today there are zombie apocalypse and color runs, car shows, and integration for the Coast Guard Mutual Assistance into the CCTI. But bottom line, this organization has continued to do things to stay steadfast in its original mission statement and to remain flexible to the needs of the Coast Guard workforce as it morphs over time. I went about the process when I retired from the Coast Guard of not what I wanted to do, but what I didn't want to do. And I had been the president of CGMA's Board of Control at the time, and I enjoyed that. And I was standing on the Eagle at a Navy League function after Harvey, Irma, and Maria. And I realized that CGMA had more work to do. And what I wanted to accomplish and was to build on what Barry Boisvier had accomplished, and that is to make CGMA hashtag even better. And so Barry, thank you for making the great foundation for me to really build on. I wanted to renew and establish relationships, grow and expand the visibility of the organization, professionalize fundraising and development, and to ensure that the finances were stable. There was the government shutdown, there was the pandemic, there was the business model updates. We've done so much: breast milk shipments, car shipments, OCONUS rental cars, things for working dogs, family building, and I'm so proud to have served in this e-ticket ride. When I took the job, I never expected the Coast Guard to not be paid, nor to have a global pandemic. It's not lost on me that active duty donors are still declining, though, and the need continues. Not long after World War II, there were about 17% of Coast Guard members donating, and today there's about 25%. And so there's much to do. And I think as the Coast Guard changes its culture to be free from harassment, bullying, and more, it can inspire more to continue to help our own. And while I know that many seniors know about CGMA and that they can actually raise funds, I don't know that it's really permeated the way into core values. So Master Chief, as you modernize the definition of core values, I'd ask you to consider these concepts in that modernization of that. My successor has not yet been named, but I'm sure that whoever is will work to continue to make the Coast Guard more financially resilient. That relief should happen in the next couple of months. As the Commandant mentioned, I'm headed back to school to study social work. I'd like to thank Mind Strong Guardians for giving me the opportunity to begin my own next chapter, to talk about and to experience and to assist those people with both operational trauma as well as military sexual trauma, and I look forward to being able to help others. I'd like to thank my special guest, my daughter. I came to the table and there's this name tag for special guest. And so then I started moving special guest to a different table. So I'm glad somebody moved special guest back to the table. To my sister, thank you for being here. For my amazing husband, you've just been extraordinarily supportive. Thank you all for this important journey. And many of you know I stole 3 boxes of words off of Girl Scout cookie box: commitment, courage, and character. And these are words that have served me well on my active duty service, helped me serve well when I served the Navy League, helped me serve well here, and I know they will be important. As we wrap up, I know that you each feel a profound sense of pride and gratitude. Thank you to each and every one of you for your time being here today. Time is one of the most important gifts that you have, and your time here is the most important gift to me. Fair winds and following seas to you all. So with Admiral Raymond, sir, with your permission as my last order of business, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you all, and Semper Paratus. Oh, we forgot the 100-year video. Okay, let's give you a quick update so you can see what to expect as we celebrate formally our 100th birthday in November.
Every day, the U.S. Coast Guard defends our shores and protects our vital national interests. They serve our nation as they serve their families, with strength, determination, and compassion. How do we honor the sacrifices they make? Coast Guard Mutual Assistance has served the men and women of the Coast Guard for over a century, with critical financial assistance in their time of need, allowing them to continue helping us in our time of need. CGMA needs your support to continue enhancing the mission readiness of the U.S. Coast Guard. Semper Paratus. As they are always ready to serve us, we will be ready to serve them. Coast Guard Mutual Assistance. Helping our own.
Since 1924, happy birthday, Mutual Assistance.